Ever since our country was founded, we've had a criminal justice system, and many things have always made the system the way it is. The system is forever changing. However, the crimes, the criminals, the trials, the prosecutors, the judges, the jury, the public, the media, everything makes the system the way it is. It's something that the change depends on the way society reacts. The change depends on the way things go through. The change isn't based off of one person and their opinion. The change is a group perspective, and each day crimes committed, each day we learn new things. And nothing's going to stop that. Nothing is going to stop crime from being committed. It's a part of life. It's always going to happen. And this system is forever changing, like I said. No matter what we do, nothing is going to stop that. There are so many different cases and criminals and trials that are so memorable that happened within the system that whether you were born or whether you weren't even a thought yet, you know what happened. You know what the outcome was, or you have learned at least some point of it where you know the names, you know what happened, you know anything involving it. One of those insane cases that everyone knows, that everyone followed if they were around, that everyone can point out what went wrong, everyone can give their own opinion on based off of the X, Y, and Z. Everyone can have some type of 2 cents into what happened and what should have happened, and how this case, how this particular trial changed the entire criminal justice system for time to come. Changed science, changed DNA, changed everything. This case was so big in the media. It was so big in the public's eyes. It was more than just a murder case. It was about civil rights. It was about the DNA. It was about domestic violence. It was so many different things tied into this case and made it the way it was. So, what exactly happened? On June 12th, 1994, Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were murdered in Nicole Brown Simpson's home. Um, it was in LA. Nicole Brown Simpson was nearly decapitated. She had knife marks across her neck, and once the police arrived on the scene, her head was barely still hanging on her body. It was extremely gruesome. Ron Goldman was stabbed almost 60 times, where obviously that's completely unnecessary. It's just so cruel and so gruesome, and remembering things like this and hearing things like this, it just makes it stick out in your mind. When when the police started to go into the past and the life of Nicole Brown Simpson, obviously her ex-husband was O.J. Simpson, the famous NFL player. He had an amazing career. He was a darling in the public's eye. Everyone loved him. Everyone knew who he was. He was the juice. He was famous. He was rich. He was popular. Everyone knew who he was. There was no getting around that. Um, Obviously, OJ had had some trouble with relationships in the past. Him and Nicole Brown Simpson were ex for a reason. Like, there wasn't just it wasn't a perfect couple, it wasn't a perfect marriage. There was definitely some domestic violence involved in their marriage. There was multiple times where Nicole had to call the police on him because he beat her, or where other people said that he beat her, or anything like that. So within this, OJ becomes a suspect, obviously, because he has motive. He has the means to do it. He has to be involved somehow, is what the police were thinking. So when OJ finally went to trial after the famous white Bronco chase and after all of that, there was many things that were presented evidence-wise in the court. From the bloody glove to the DNA evidence to the hair at the scene to just everything that was shown, the footprints, the just all of it. Um, First off, I believe that the prosecution failed Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman extremely. They didn't learn what they should have learned about DNA. Yes, DNA was something that was new to us. It was something that wasn't prominent in no not everyone knew what it was, not everyone understood it, but that is something that they needed to have taken the initiative to learn about, to educate the jury about, to educate the media about, to educate the public. If they would have done that, this case could have went so differently. But they didn't. They provided what they thought they knew, and they let the defense make them look like absolute idiots up there. They had the bloody glove. First off, when that glove didn't fit OJ, shocker. Like, the glove was wet. Leather shrinks when it's wet. There was blood found inside the glove. It was Nicole's and it was Ron's. And there was OJ's hair found inside of that glove. There was a 99.99% chance that it connected to OJ Simpson. But that wasn't discussed. And the hair at the scene, it was proved to have been OJ's. There was a 0.05% chance that it could have connected to anyone else. That anyone else in the entire population could have had a connection to this. The blood in the Bronco, the 2 sets of DNA that were found, they failed to say that, hey, 2 sets of DNA can be combined, but no matter what you do, if you pull them apart, it's still going to be 2 sets of DNA. They're not going to merge and create a new one. It's going to be 2 different sets. The prosecution failed to educate everyone on this. They failed to show that OJ committed this crime. They failed Nicole Brown Simpson's family and Ron Goldman's family. They failed. They really did. They let a murderer walk free. And now, seeing everything that we know about DNA and everything that we know about that trial and everything that's come out since then, most people believe OJ did it. That might be my bias, but most people I talk to believe OJ did it. There's no question in their minds that OJ did it now. But back then, there was an extreme question because the prosecution failed. In this day and age, if this trial would have happened right now, there still would have been a CSI effect from the jury. However, the prosecution now knows that if you don't educate people on what is going on what is happening, on what's being presented, you're gonna lose because they're not gonna understand what is being shown to them. They're not gonna understand that DNA means this, this, and this, that leather shrinks. They're not gonna understand that 2 different strands of DNA can't be combined. They're not gonna understand that. So, with that being said, I believe that with all the evidence that we had in this case, OJ was absolutely 100% guilty. I believe the prosecution failed him, and I believe that a murderer walked free, essentially, and that a murderer walks free every day and got away with one of the biggest crimes in the criminal justice system. There's nothing else to really say about that. He did it, and he's gonna have to live with that, but so is the prosecution, knowing that they failed those families and they failed the public.